If I told you that some of the weeds you've been fighting could actually be worth more to your soil than any store-bought fertilizer, you'd probably laugh, but stay with me. Because what most gardeners don't realize is that some of the most unwanted plants in your yard are actually earthworm magnets, naturally drawing in thousands of these tiny soil builders without a single scoop of compost or bag of worm castings. Weeds, when chosen and managed correctly, are nature's fastest way of healing damaged, compacted, or lifeless soil, and today we're breaking down 7 of the most powerful worm-attracting weeds, the very same plants that can make your soil softer, richer, and more alive than ever before. Before we name the 7, it helps to understand why weeds work so well. Worms don't care about fancy NPK numbers or perfectly balanced compost. What they crave is decaying organic matter, microbial life, and moisture, the 3 things that thrive in weedy areas. Most weeds have deep or fibrous root systems that break up compacted soil, pull minerals from below, and shed organic residues as they grow and die. Their fallen leaves, roots, and exudates, the sugars they release into the soil, create a microbe-rich environment worms can't resist. Fertilizers feed plants, weeds feed soil life, and when soil life thrives, your plants follow. Everyone knows the dandelion, bright yellow flowers, deep taproot, and that floating white seed puff we all blew as kids, but what many gardeners overlook is just how much dandelions transform heavy, dead soil. Their roots can reach over a foot deep, drilling through compacted clay and creating natural worm tunnels. As the root dies back or is cut down, it decays in place, releasing carbon and minerals like calcium and potassium directly into the worm zone. Worms move through those channels, feeding on the decomposing roots and enriching the soil with their castings. Let a few dandelions grow along borders or around fruit trees. You'll see the soil come alive within weeks. Plantain weeds are one of the best soil indicators you can have. They show up where soil is compacted, acidic, or low in oxygen, the exact kind of ground worms want to fix. So, their fibrous roots, knit through the top layer of soil holding in moisture, and really encouraging microbial growth, and when those broad leaves fall and decay, they actually form a natural mulch that worms pull underground to feed on. If you leave just a small patch of plantain around your pathways or garden edges, it honestly becomes a worm cafeteria. It's rich, damp, and always regenerating. Clover is like the worm and soil builder's dream plant. It's technically considered a weed in a lot of lawns, but it's honestly one of the most valuable nitrogen fixers you can grow naturally. Clover roots, they actually form a partnership with beneficial bacteria that convert atmospheric nitrogen into a form plants can use. And that nitrogen doesn't just feed nearby plants, it also boosts microbial populations that worms feed on. Plus, the dense canopy of clover keeps soil shaded and moist, creating, honestly, the perfect worm habitat. If you let clover creep between beds or under fruit trees, you'll never need synthetic fertilizer again. Chickweed really loves cool, moist soil, which is exactly the kind of place where worms thrive. It grows fast, covers bare patches, and, get this, breaks down even faster when you cut it down or just leave it as mulch. So, its stems and leaves are actually really soft and high in nitrogen, which, makes them just perfect as worm food as they break down. Plus, chickweed does a great job of keeping the soil surface covered, which helps prevent compaction and protects that important worm layer from drying out. You can kinda think of chickweed as your living compost cover. It grows super fast, it's easy to manage, and honestly, earthworms just can't resist it. Comfrey isn't technically a weed if you plant it on purpose, but wow, it sure acts like one. It's strong, deep-rooted, and almost impossible to get rid of, and honestly, that's a really good thing. Its massive taproot pulls up nutrients from deep in the subsoil, especially potassium and calcium, and when you cut comfrey leaves and drop them as mulch, they break down into this sticky, microbe-rich mass that worms just devour. Many gardeners call comfrey the compost activator for good reason. It feeds both the plants above and the worms below. Nettle might sting, but it's one of the most nutrient-dense plants on the planet, for both humans and soil life. So, its roots release these organic acids that help break down minerals, and, when the plant decays, it's packed with nitrogen, iron, and silica, all of which feed soil microbes and attract worms. In permaculture systems, nettles are often left to grow in corners or compost areas, specifically to boost worm populations. Once they die back, the worms move in quickly, turning that area into a nutrient powerhouse. This low-growing succulent weed might be the most underestimated worm ally of them all. Purslane is loaded with omega-3 fatty acids and organic compounds that break down beautifully in soil. So, purslane actually thrives in poor, dry ground, the kind worms usually avoid, but its fleshy stems hold onto moisture, which helps worms re-establish themselves even in those tough spots. And when purslane breaks down, it leaves behind this layer of humus that holds water just like a sponge. If you've got purslane, don't pull it out. Seriously, use it as a soil restorer and worm attractor between your crops. Synthetic fertilizers, well, they give a quick nutrient hit, but they don't feed the life in your soil. And without life, your soil is just dirt. Weeds, on the other hand, actually build ecosystems. Their roots open pathways, their leaves feed microbes, and their decay draws in the greatest soil builder of all, the earthworm. When worms move in, they aerate, fertilize, and condition your soil continuously. Their castings are balanced, slow release, and perfectly matched to what your plants actually need. So the next time you see weeds popping up, remember, nature isn't trying to ruin your garden, she's trying to fix it, one worm tunnel at a time. If you found this guide valuable, give it a like, share it with fellow gardeners, and subscribe to Gentle Herbal Living for more practical soil wisdom that actually works. Let's stop fighting the weeds and start farming the worms.